This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by Sky Sports' Adam Smith here in Cardiff. Adam, last time I saw you was Joshua Usyk fight week, wow. So it's been 4 months ago. So how have things been going for yourself?
I missed you, Andy. You know, where have you been?
I've been out in America covering all the shows out there, so I can't complain.
You can't complain. I haven't been to the States in a long time, actually. I think probably the last time was for Fury-Whyte 2, such as the pandemic, and obviously we've had a huge amount of stuff going on here and shows. But yeah, look, we're in a really good place. We're really excited about the beginning of 2022. Starts on Saturday night here in Cardiff with a fantastic top of the bill, a great show, full stop. Wonderful having Clarissa Shields over, Caroline Dubois' debut. Yeah, can't wait for it. And then obviously 2 weeks after that, it's a fight that I've tried to sort of I've tried to get them together for however long, 10, 15 years, and I think everybody's tried, and Ben Shalom managed to get them to sign. And look, Amir and Cal are in great shape and they're ready to rock, and I can't wait for that fight week. And then the week after we go to Glasgow. Love the Scottish fans as much as the Welsh, and it's going to be a brilliant atmosphere up there for Josh Taylor, and he deserves a really good homecoming, but it's not going to be easy against the undefeated Jack Catterall. So yeah, it's a bumper month for us. It's a fantastic February, and it all kicks off this weekend. But we've got a few days until Saturday, and it's going to be some more fun in the build-up with Eubank and Williams, I think.
I'm sure British boxing fans are looking forward to this month ahead as much as anyone, especially with no boxing taking place in January. But coming on to this show, Adam, a lot of needle in the build-up between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams. How much more of an appetising fight, shall we say, it becomes when there is that type of animosity between two fighters, where there is a genuine dislike. I don't like to say the word hate, but you could certainly maybe throw that word out there in this case.
Yeah, Morales Barrera, Froch Groves, you know, when fighters don't like each other, you know, I think it took Eric and Marco's wives to get them together, and their feud lasted many, many years. For Carl and George, it lasted a few years, and now they're doing dinner shows together. Chris and Liam don't like each other. Amir and Kel don't like each other. Josh and Jack really like each other. So you've got three slightly different relationships in the three big fights in February. I think with this one, Liam's got a point to prove here. He's at home in Wales. I think he feels disrespected by Chris. I think sometimes it's Chris's way. He comes across as, arrogant, and maybe Liam feels sort of above his station, but I don't think Chris is like that. I think he's just very confident in his own ability. I think he's comfortable in his skin. I think he's obviously found in Roy Jones Jr. the perfect combination as a trainer, as a mentor and a guide. And I think that Chris does respect Liam Williams, and I think Liam Williams does respect Chris, certainly in terms of fighting ability. And I think they both know it's a tough fight. You've got to make Chris a slight favourite because he's got the probably added skills, and it'd be interesting to see if he can mix it up with standing with Liam, because Liam's going to apply enormous pressure. What Liam has got is Adam Booth, and Adam is a canny, wily trainer who normally comes up with pretty useful game plans. You remember the Hay Valoev night or the Groves to Gale night. And he just he finds a way sometimes against the odds, and he does it differently. So that's going to be an interesting watch from that point of view, from the Booth stable. Obviously, he's got experience of working with Chris. He works with Harlem. Harlem was, it was interesting talking to Harlem. He said that him and Liam just have not, shared any time in the gym together. He said, I didn't want to get in any way friendly or close to him because, this is family. And so there's a lot of subplots to go with this fight. It's been delayed. Change of trainers, injury to Liam. Chris obviously, unfortunately, had the tragic loss of Sebastian last year, and that hit everybody hard, let alone the Eubank family, of course, who are very, very tight. So our hearts went out to Chris and Harlem, and they've both got to get back in the ring and refocus. Chris had that warm up in Newcastle, but I think this is the time now where he knows he's got a live test in front of him. I think you might see the best of Chris Eubank, but then again, you might see the best of Liam Williams. I think what we do know is we're all in for a treat.
Adam, I've seen some people over social media be critical of Junior since he teamed up with Roy Jones in terms of trying to adapt his style and picking up what Roy's trying to teach him. What's your thoughts on their link-up and from what we've seen so far in the couple of fights they've had together?
I've known Roy a long time. I followed him in his career. I went to Pensacola. Unbelievable trainer in the ring, unbelievable trainer when it really mattered in the prize ring, incredible fighter, one of the best ever, and that was that window, I think, where he was just absolutely untouchable. But Chris Eubank Jr. is not Roy Jones Jr. And I asked him that question earlier on, and he said, no, he's not. He said, and there's parts of me that I don't think, I can't get out of myself at my age. I still want to get out. So it is Roy trying to get his magic through to Chris, and Chris is almost the, not the guinea pig, but he's the athlete that's got to do what Roy Jones wants to do. And can he do that? Chris believes he's learned a great amount from him. We can't really look too much into what happened in Newcastle. There was a few rounds there. He got the rust off. It was obviously the first time he got back in the ring since Seb died. This is where we're going to find out whether this combination works. And it's a pivotal fight for Chris Eubank Jr. He's 32. If he's going to become a world champion, he's got to win this fight. And he's got to look good doing it as well. But Liam Williams, I think this is his world title fight at home. He fought Andrade, of course, but this is his moment in front of his fans, and I think he'll give absolutely everything into it. Now, will that play into Chris's hands? Maybe, but he's going to have to be ready for an intensity that he probably hasn't been used to in a while, Chris.
Adam, we know in Liam's case, when he gets into the ring, he sees red, he just wants to go for broke immediately. He's very aggressive with his style. A very raucous atmosphere here today for just a workout. So come Saturday night when it's a packed out arena, see Spencer Oliver there just hitting a butler baggy behind you rather. But going back to what was going to be that question, how important is it?
Roll back the ears or something?
I don't know, but I think Johnny's about to have a go as well.
Johnny's been told he's not going to roll back the ears ever again. Tell you what, he can still punch a bit, Johnny. He normally gets the highest score on these things.
Adam, to go back to what was going to be my question, with Liam, how important is it that he doesn't allow the atmosphere to get on top of him and he doesn't just go out there and be aggressive and allow Junior to control the fight how he wants to?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think that he's going to have that. He's going to have that fire inside him. I mean, there's something about Wales and coming to Cardiff, and you see it. You saw it at the Old Arms Park. You see it at the Principality when the rugby's played. There's something incredible about the Welsh support, the fervency, and the patriotic support. And I think that Liam is part of that, and he'll fuel off that. And he's got to be careful. He's got to listen to Adam. He's got to try and take the cauldron away and listen to the cool, sort of calming influence of Adam Booth in the corner. But at the same time, he can't take away what he's good at, which is being very aggressive. So it's going to be fascinating to see what Adam's going to come up with here. But I think he does have to put a lot of heat on to Chris at various times in this fight. But then again, I think Chris is going to have to sit with him and trade a bit too. So, yeah, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be electric in there on Saturday night. We're here for the darts tomorrow as well, Andy, which is banged out for the Premier League. And then 48 hours later, the Motor Point is going to be full of a slightly different support base, but another incredible crowd. So it's a great week for Cardiff, and everyone's coming out. There's going to be the open sort of way in, and I just think it's terrific. People came for the workouts. Clarissa shone, wasn't she amazing? Caroline Dubois got her debut. It's going to be a great night.
Adam, Otto Wallin added to the card at late notice against Kamil Sokolowski. Otto naturally is a heavy favourite for that fight, but you'd expect some tough rounds from Kamil. Everybody in British boxing knows about some of the upsets he's caused and some of the fights which he's been on the wrong end of some decisions on.
It was
a weird fight. That's what I was going to ask you.
Surprised to see Otto?
I saw it the day before.
You're ahead of the game, Andy. Ahead of the game. No, Otto's come over. He's with Dimitri Salita. He needed a workout, and listen, it's a pleasure to have a man of his calibre and standing on the card. He's a brilliant fighter, only one defeat to Fury, had that win over Dominic Breazeale. He's very much back in the mix. I'd like to see him fight Hughie Fury. I think that's a really interesting fight. He was going to fight Dillian, that didn't quite come off, but he's there and thereabouts. So yeah, he'll be looking to make a little statement on a big show, and but he should get rounds because he's in with a toughie.
And I'm not really sure what's going on behind you. You see Johnny and Spencer getting into the ring now, so might not be
a tactics piece. Sort of who wins and who loses. So let's see how they manage that.
There's a bit of a always advantage in Johnny's favour there, Adam. But
slight advantage. Although he could be a little firecracker, Spencer.
Coming back to the interview again, Adam, just get your thoughts on a few other things. Firstly, before we come on to one obvious thing in the heavyweight division, I want to get your thoughts on Bob Arum's comments on women's boxing. Now, you've been an advocate for women's boxing for as long as I've known you, before I've known you as well. Bob's come out and said that for whatever reason he just doesn't know why fans don't take to the female side to the sport, and it's had a strong reaction. Obviously, seeing the Taylor Serrano card on April 30th going up against the Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez card on April 30th as well. I just want to get your take on that situation.
Yeah, Top Rank are our promotional partners. We've got a big deal with Todd DeBerth and Bob Arum and his wonderful team. Mel's over this week. We've got Michaela Meyer here. We love what Top Rank have done. They've got a big show that night with Shakur Stevenson in a fantastic fight. So it's probably the old promotional trick of trying to take attention away from what you've got, what other people have got onto you, and it's backfired. I think it was a stupid comment. Look, it's Bob is a legend. Bob is steeped in incredible boxing history, and he's put on some of the greatest fights that there has ever been and worked with some of the greatest fighters. I mean, I wonder what Michaela Meyer thought of that, because she's, Top Rank sort of flagship, standout women's fighter, and I'd like to sort of ask her what she thinks. I mean, look, maybe it's just Bob being controversial. I didn't like it. I don't like anyone throwing anything against female boxing. I think we've come so far. It was amazing seeing Clarissa sort of stop traffic here. Savannah Marshall I worked with for 10 years. Immensely proud of where the women have come in the sport. Katie Taylor is an absolute icon. Terry Harper, Chantel Cameron, Caroline Dubois turning over. We're going to get Lauren and Karis soon. They'll be adding their brilliance to the professional game. You look at the likes of even April Hunter up there in Newcastle, and Georgia O'Connor and Ebony Jones, Ellie Scottney. I mean, it's just a who's who now, isn't it? And Natasha Jonas, I've forgotten. I mean, unbelievable. She fights for a world title again, and she's one of ours now. So yeah, I'm massively in favour of women's boxing, as you know. It's not just women's boxing, it's boxing. We've seen some of the greatest fights in recent times between the females. We've got Clarissa and Savannah hopefully going to meet in the biggest match in the UK. You've got Katie and Amanda Serrano on that night. It's a wonderful fight. It's a fantastic fight. It's not with us. It's a fantastic fight in Madison Square Garden. And, we've worked with Katie a long time, and I'm so pleased she's got that fight. Yeah, is there a great fight on that night as well? Yeah, and that's a different story. But you're not going to hear me saying anything like that. And I just wonder if Bob regrets it. It was silly, and I just think if that's his opinion, fine, he's going to say it, isn't he? But it's something I don't agree with him on.
Adam, moving away from that one, get your thoughts on the heavyweight scene. Obviously, last Friday we saw Frank Warren and Top Rank pick up the Tyson Fury-Dillian-Whyte fight with the largest purse bid in history of the sport. I just wanted to get your initial reaction to that news when you saw it.
Yeah, congratulations to Frank. It's an absolute humdinger of a purse bid, the biggest ever. And Matchroom put in 31, 32, and they put in $41 million or something. I don't know. I think there was a bit of extra change in there as well. Phenomenal, huge money. It's a great fight, and it's a fight that I know Dillian's been quiet, but I hope that we just get it on in April. It's a terrific chance for Dillian after waiting for so long. He deserves this opportunity. We all want to see Tyson Fury come home at UK time and demonstrate his skills, why he's the number one heavyweight in the world. We all want AJ to come back too and try and exact revenge if he can on Alexander Usyk. That's a tough fight. He's going through who the trainer's going to be and sort of coming back from a defeat. But while that's happening, let's get Fury and White on in April, whether it's at Wembley or here or wherever it is. And congratulations to Frank Warren and Todd DeBurf and the top-ranked team, because they're partners on this. So Todd was delighted, and I'm very pleased for him. And it's not on Sky Sports box office, but we're going to get behind it and support it. It's a big fight for the heavyweight division. We've worked with Dillian a long time. You know how highly I regard Tyson, and we're right behind this fight. Well done.
Adam, on the back of that, Frank Warren's done a couple of interviews and mentioned your partner with boxer Ben Shalom attempted to broker a deal on Dillian's behalf for that fight.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your knowledge on Ben's involvement, or attempted involvement, shall I say.
Yeah, Danny Flexen asked me the same thing yesterday. I think it's a question you've got to ask Ben. We talk a lot. We talk many, many times a day, but Ben also does things that he wants to do as well. I'm sure that, he's probably trying to get into he's working with Dimitri Salita, he's working with the Salons, he wants to work with everybody, he wants to push Boxer as much as he can do, and if he can help Dillian Whyte out, I don't know. I've brought Eddie Hearn was with Dillian Whyte. I'm not sure what the relationship is. He's guided Dillian brilliantly for a long time. Dillian's been on Sky for most of his career. We've really loved having it. Of course, he's got his team as well, Dillian. So you've got to ask them what the situation is. But as far as I'm concerned, Fury is fighting Dillian Whyte. It's a great fight. Let's get it on. So, whether Ben is a guest or involved or not involved, it's not really for me to say. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a fight fan. I just can't wait for the fight.
Did you have any conversations with Ben about him speaking to Frank to try to make that fight, on Dillian's behalf? Because I think the understanding was Dillian's technically classed as a free agent. He's just got a long-standing relationship with Eddie and Matchroom. So with that in mind, it could have been feasible.
But that's what I thought Eddie was bidding for. So the bid, he obviously wanted it on DAZN for, and Dillian's not happy with the purse. So ultimately, people are trying to get involved to be creative. And look, I'm not a promoter, Andy, as you well know. I try and help out situations if I can, and it benefits Sky and benefits boxing, like Amir Khan and Kell Brook. The fight was agreed. They came to me. They wanted to do it on Sky, and then Ben had to get to work and try and make it happen. It's the promoter's job to deliver us the fights. But obviously, if I can help out, I will. All I'm interested in at the moment with that fight is that it happens, that Fury-Whyte happens. I want to be there, as I'm sure you want to be there. And that AJ gets back in the ring as soon as possible, and hopefully we see him against Alexander Usyk, and it's two great fights in the spring, summer for the fans to look out for, and then let's see where we go after that, because I know there's all the talk of will it be Usyk and Fury and the step-asides. Well, we're back to where we should be, really, and that's Dillian Whyte getting his opportunity against Tyson Fury back home, and hopefully we'll get AJ and Usyk as well, again at Tottenham or Wembley. It's great for the British fight fans.
Just a final thing on that topic, Adam, I was going to get your thoughts, and again, is with Ben's approach, where was there ever any temptation to put a bid in? We saw Frank say that he never officially made a bid for that fight. Did you guys have any discussions about, again, trying to make an official bid, shall we say?
Really probing with this one, Andy, aren't you? Look, we've got the fight.
People were just interested to know as much as possible.
Of course, listen, of course they are. And, some things do go on behind the scenes, and some things that you can't talk about. I remember, when I worked with Eddie, and there was stuff that we just couldn't say because you're working on something. There's stuff with Ben and I that we can't, because some things have to be kept quiet, and there's a lot of competition out there at the moment. It's great having DAZN throwing a lot of money and having a lot of great shows. BT and Frank, I know Frank hasn't put any shows on yet, but he will do this year, and he's had the best week, hasn't he? Well done to Frank. So there's a lot of people vying for it. Obviously the Wasserman Group as well, Mick Hennessy, there's other promoters, Dennis Hobson, other promoters here, and I tell you what, it's really great for boxing. It's great for fighters coming out of the pandemic who can fight, and big shows and lots of shows. It's great for fight fans. The most important thing is that we get these heavyweight fights. So whether Frank Warren's involved, Bob Arum, Todd DeBurf, Eddie Hearn, Ben Shalom, whatever, we're getting these fights. To my knowledge, Fury-Whyte is happening in April. I can't wait.
Adam, just picking back up there, my SD cards just ran out at the end of that question, but we will move on. Final thing, you mentioned Anthony Joshua. Do you have any kind of inkling as to where his television rights stand currently? Have you had any further conversations?
I've said to you back, I think, when we last spoke in September, God, was it that long ago? I said to you all the way through that I firmly believe that Anthony Joshua will continue his relationship with Sky. It's his choice. Obviously, you know, Eddie Hearn is with DAZN now. It worked when we went back together with them for Tottenham. It was a huge show. It was a great success. Wonderful stadium. Great fight. AJ was on the end of it. You know, Alexander Usyk deserved to become the heavyweight champion by some way on that night. Okay, there's a rematch clause. We want to see it again. We thought we might not see it again with this step-aside stuff. Looks like we will. We want it on Sky. I think AJ's had a fantastic relationship with us. We've had a fantastic relationship with him. We work really closely with Freddie and the team. Obviously, Freddie has also brought Fraser Clark and helped negotiate that with Ben. So, you know, we've got a great relationship with 258. We've got a great relationship with Anthony Joshua, and fingers crossed we'll be working with him until the end of his career. But no, there's no news at the moment. I guess watch this space, and we'll find out when when Anthony wants to make an announcement.
It didn't happen in the end, but he opted against stepping aside to allow that Fury-Usyk undisputed bout. Frank Warren again coming out saying that he asked for £5 million at the last minute or whatever, which stifled that deal. I just want to get your thoughts on AJ doing so, if that was the case, and would it have been the more sensible move for him to have stepped aside?
It's a good question. People are worried that he goes straight back in with Usyk because of what happened last time. Is he changing trainers? Is he going with a new tack? Does he need time to bed in with whoever he chooses? Will he stay with Rob? We have to wait and see. AJ is his own man, and what he is, he's a businessman, and he'll do what he feels is right for him. The thing about Anthony, and I think that's what people know, he's competitive. People know he wants to be the best, but knowing him, he wants to fight everyone, right? He's not scared of anything and anyone, right? Even if he loses, he wants to test himself. I play chess with him. He wants to beat you at chess, right? He wants to beat you on the computer games. He is extraordinarily competitive. He loves it. It fuels him. It drives him on. He now wants to be a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. And write him off at your peril, okay? He will start an underdog against Usyk in the rematch because of what happened first time around, and it is a big ask. But I tell you what, it would not surprise me if Anthony Joshua, whether it's against Alexander Usyk or against Tyson Fury or Dillian Whyte or whoever it is, becomes a 3-time heavyweight champion, because he is so determined to do that and to fight everybody. And even if he doesn't win, what I love about him is his attitude, and it's a great attitude. And for me, a couple of defeats, 2 or 3 defeats on a record, does it really matter? I want him. Dillian Whyte wants to give the fans the best. Never turned anyone down when we had him on Sky. Great, love that attitude. Tyson Fury going in with Wilder, going in again, a 3rd time. I love that. Isn't that great about fighters when they're prepared to do that? AJ's one of those, and one of the best at that.
All right, then we'll leave that there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day, because no cues form behind me whilst we've done this. I appreciate your time. It's good to see you again, and thanks for speaking to me.
Thank you, Andy, as always.